All right, so I'm gonna say Shalom and all praises unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. And I got a note. I gotta say this. I want to say that this is for entertainment purposes only. This is, research and educational purposes only. I should say, right? So I'm gonna play this video of Charlie Kirk, and I need you guys to use critical thinking skills, because after all, this took place. This incident with Charlie Kirk took place on a United States university with all types of surveillance everywhere, right? So I'm gonna show you a couple videos. I'm gonna show you this right here leading up to the incident, and I'm gonna show you there are not one figure but two figures in question in this video. And I also want to point out something else in this video. All right, so notice that Charlie Kirk is holding a microphone, right? So there would be no need for him to have a wearable microphone. Why do I mention that? You'll see why. So I'm gonna play the video, and then I'm gonna silence it because I made commentary earlier. But you see that man right there is wearing gray, right? Jumping off the building and all this stuff. And people supposedly saw this man laying on the roof, but nobody said nothing. That's suspect. He's crawling around. He on the roof. This is a MAGA event, right? You see that person right there? That person is wearing what? That person is wearing what looks to be. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Dang, I can't. Oh, I can. Okay, you see that? So you can kind of get some more detail on this dude. It looked like he's wearing black, a sniper. So if they got surveillance footage of this right here, then there had to be some security on the grounds watching the surveillance videos. And he didn't report it either. All right, so I'm just looking at this stuff, man. If this is actually the actual footage from, the roof, right? So that's that guy right there. You see, he wearing black. Clearly, right? You can tell the difference between gray and black, or light gray, right? So watch this. All right, so everybody's running because I guess at that point he shot. All right, so I want you to notice something right here, right? Look at Charlie Kirk. Look at his shirt. His shirt says freedom. All right, so it's kind of like reverse, right? But if you look right above the FRE part along his collar, what is that? You see how bulky that is? I'm not saying anything, I just want you to think. Okay, what is this? So, and Charlie Kirk, he's a outspoken right winger. So I just want you to think about it. Think about this, right? What is the agenda that they're trying to push right now, right? This current administration, they're trying to push national security, under the guise of safety. So this guy right here, he's like 31. He's got his whole life ahead of him, right? And then, this is not random. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do believe, man. So, in my humble opinion, I think that this may be a hoax. This might be one of those red flag events to usher in more fake security. That's my humble opinion, man. You see that? You see that? A closer look. You see that, right? Y'all see what I see? That looks like tubing. All right? I'm going to show you the video where he supposedly actually got popped. All right? Hold on. All right, so to the untrained eye, or somebody, not really in the know, this video might be disturbing. But remember, we watch horror movies and films where people get, popped or whatever. So this right here could be very fake, man. Remember the tubing that was on his collar. And then look at what happens. Look, watch his shirt, how it kind of inflates upon supposed the impact, right, of the shot. Pay attention. Right? You see that? Inside of his shirt, it fluffed up, and then all of a sudden all this it flows from inside of his shirt. You see that? See? All right, so once again, man, I don't know how true that is. You know, it could be an act. Like I said, it could be a false flag event, but all the signs point to it being a hoax, man. You know how people say, oh, hoaxes and stuff like that, conspiracies and all that. You know, this is kind of how this stuff is born. But like I say, you got to have a critical thinking skills, a set of skills to be able to look at things, you know, in this manner. So, hey, man, if he is gone, man, that's judgment, man. You know, it is what it is. But you know, a lot of times in these situations, you know, he might have another role that they want him to play. You know, this is how they operate too, man. You know, because Hollywood is all about illusion. You know, I'm not saying this is Hollywood, but you know, production crews from Hollywood, they travel. You know, and these are political actors. And remember, all the world is a stage, man. So they'll do one thing, and they'll turn around and use it for, you know, they create a crisis, and then, you know, it'd be a fake crisis, so they can push an agenda. It's just like that the dude that was on that train with that one model looking chick. She looked like a model, man. You know, let's keep it real. She had a very pretty face. You know what I'm saying? And this dude supposedly had a mental health history. We don't know how true that is either, because they, you know, like I say, they always have an agenda to push. You know, so I'm not sure about any of this stuff, and all of this stuff is alleged. Like I say, it's for entertainment purposes only. Take it with a grain of salt. And that's it, man. Shalom.